Welcome to where the dead go to die.
Where am I? What's going on?
Well, since you're in the place where the dead go to die, obviously, you're dead.
But that's not how it's supposed to be. Every time I die, I go to the Alpha and Omega, not here.
The only reason you went to Alpha's domain is because of the dark powers trapped inside you. Just like me. You weren't dead. You were just punching a hole through Alpha's dimension. The same dimension those powers came from. Alpha wasn't bringing you back to life, he was just pushing you back to the dimension where you belong. So, then, the others. Well, you're in for the long haul. You want to watch this movie with me?
Movie?
The only movie playing in this void of death, coincidentally also called Where the Dead Go to Die.
Wait, I've heard of that movie. Isn't that CG movie that was made in 2012 by Jimmy Screamer Claus Screamer?
Yep, that's the one. Well, I guess if that's the only movie they have to watch here, I guess we'll just make the best of it. Let's do it.
What the fuck was that?
Well, why don't you explain it?
Alright. I'll try.
Well, folks, you know what I like? Plots. You know what I don't like? Having no plots. Obviously. And in this regard, Where the Dead Go to Die has no overarching plot. It's an anthology of 3 different interconnecting stories involving a group of young kids who all live in the same area, who are coerced into doing horrific things at the behest of a demon dog called Labby, and are taken through a hellish dimension of unsettling, fucked up imagery. That's the gist of it, and believe me, there's little point in going into detail. The details are irrelevant, because you probably didn't hear a word I was saying anyway. You were probably too transfixed on the sheer maddening horror your eyes were being subjected to in my beat roll. Well, apologies for that, but let me clarify by saying that, while I don't think anthologies are anything to sneeze at in terms of storytelling, I just don't think it works here. Well, in honesty, nothing works here, but we'll get to that eventually.
You feeling sick at all? I've been watching this shit for nearly a year straight.
Well, why don't you just close your eyes?
Why don't you close your eyes and see where that gets you?
Okay, fine, I will. Oh, holy shit!
Now, much in the vein of heavy metal, due to the movie's structure, there aren't really any characters to speak of. It's mostly just a bunch of people dragging their noxious dead weight around through the nightmarish landscapes, so again, there's not much to elaborate on. Everyone are just poorly acted scumbags who exist only as an excuse to show more fucked up imagery, so there's no sense in justifying their existence any longer. Call it a cop-out if you must, I call it good time management.
Man, I'm hungry. I wish there was something to eat in this place.
You're dead. Why would you want to eat?
Because I binge eat when I'm pissed off, that's why.
Well, good luck. There's nothing to eat here but misery.
Man, I wish my mom was here. She always had Doritos.
Anyway, moving on. You're probably assuming, based on the complete vagueness of my descriptions thus far, that I have absolutely nothing good to say about this movie. And you'd be right, but I do have to mention one thing. In spite of this movie's monumental crapitude, I do have to give credit where credit is due. This whole movie was made almost entirely by one man, James Screamer Claus Creamer, and that is quite an accomplishment. Not too many people can say they have a feature-length movie made entirely by themselves under their belt, so props for that. But that doesn't mean it's good. So, with that minor accolade out of the way, let's rip into this bitch. So if it wasn't obvious right from the moment you laid eyes on this horse dump mess, this movie looks absolutely appalling, but in a bad way. Sure, for a horror movie, the textures are rightfully very unsettling, but the animation looks even worse than Reboot, which came out nearly 20 years before this. They're janky, unfitting, and clearly not keyframed properly. I mean, even some of Video Brain Kato's terrible knockoff CG movies look better than this. Hell, even I've made animation that looks better than this, and I've never received even a second of training on how to animate. Instead of putting 100% of the effort into being shocking and disturbing, maybe some of the time budget could have been squeezed into not making the entire movie look like the congealed, bloody, scabies-infested pile of wretchedness one scrapes off the floor of a condemned abattoir run by escaped mental patients. Another massive problem with this movie is that it tries to be so shocking, disturbing, with deep, dark overtones dealing with serious issues like child rape, abortion, insanity, and conjoined twins growing out of children's faces, that it just comes off as desperate and juvenile. It'd almost be hilarious if it wasn't so terrible. That goes for the voice acting too, but for more on the previous point, it's just like Hellsing Ultimate, The Cell, Drawn Together the movie, and Ren and Stimpy Adult Cartoon Party. When your only goal is to be as sick and off-putting as possible, I have to question why on earth you even bother in the first place. When you forego even the most basic storytelling and characterization methods just to show more disconcerting imagery without any constraint or guidance whatsoever, your product turns into a laughable mess. And that's what this is, a laughable, pathetic, inept attempt at shock horror that doesn't even have an ounce of charm or enjoyability in even a single frame of runtime. You may think I just don't like horror, but you'd be wrong there. When done right, horror is something I can really get attached to. But the key phrase is, when done right. And no, nothing about this movie is done right. I've never seen a movie get it so wrong. It's insulting to the viewer, it's embarrassing that it exists, and I feel ashamed that I had to watch this abomination from start to finish just so I could warn you to never, not ever subject yourselves to this. There's absolutely no merit in garbage like this, and I won't stand for it anymore. People deserve better. You can't just throw a bunch of shit together and expect praise for it. Even the creator himself admitted that there's no deeper meaning behind the grotesque imagery, so why bother doing it then? What is it that you're trying to say? Animation comes to life because people put their hearts, souls, and passion into making their dreams a reality, but this is an insult to what an amazing medium expression it is. I hate this movie more than life itself, and I'd rather be dead for all eternity suffering in this abominable hellhole than ever watch this festering squirt of vile rodent splooge
And that's why this movie gets absolutely no rating at all. It's just like the Garbage Pail Kids. It's so meritless, terrible, lazy, inept, and insulting that I honestly just can't muster the energy to give it even a 0. I hate this thing so much that I just wanna fucking die. Again. Whoa, holy shit, calm down. No! I will not calm down. I'm not gonna sit here and be shoveled shit any longer. I will not take this anymore. I want to talk to Alpha.
You can't talk to Alpha because you can't get through to his dimension. You don't have any powers anymore.
I know somebody who has powers. Alright, you listen to me, you fuck rat. I have to go to Alpha's dimension right now, and I don't want to hear a single word out of you. I need to talk to Alpha right fucking now.
Didn't Theta get rid of your powers?
Yes, he did. But I still have a bone to pick with you. It's your fault I died because you didn't trust me enough. And because of that, you're letting them win.
Letting who win?
Them! The people who make those awful, insipid, horrible products. If you don't let people call them out on their garbage, they're just gonna fill the world with more and more garbage until the world is nothing but garbage. I demand you bring me back to my world and let me resume my work.
I can't do that. I don't have any power over life and death, as I'm sure you know.
Well, make it happen somehow. I don't care how, but we can't let them infect the world with their shit any longer.
You have to calm down, Sol. I know what this is about, and it's not worth getting so worked up about. It's just a movie, after all.
Just a movie?
Yes, it's just a movie, Sol.
No, it isn't just a movie, Alpha. It's a lazy, soulless, empty expression of pure garbage that not only meant to shock the viewer with grotesque imagery, but it means absolutely nothing and has no point.
And, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter at all. Will any of the infinite universes remember that this movie is terrible?
No, it won't. But I will. I'll always remember how this movie is just nothing. Because of what movies mean to me. I will never forget that feeling of going to the theater, where everything seems so big, so fun, so important and impactful. I will never forget how these larger-than-life characters attached themselves to my soul and became a part of me. They helped shape who I am, and will continue to do so far into the future. Movies, animation, music, video games, all these things that are created by people, they mean so much more to people than you realize, Alpha. They make us feel strong. They can make us feel happy, sad, and everything in between. They can make you feel like you have friends, even when you have none, or let you relive a lost love that you can no longer obtain. They can give you a reason to live when everything around you seems bleak and depressing. And even bad things should be celebrated because it's a miracle they get made at all. The bad ones help us realize how to make the good ones, and can still help to shape who we are regardless of their quality. I can forgive a bad thing made in earnest, but what I can't forgive is a bad thing made without care. A shoddy product that not even its creator can stand behind and didn't care about in the first place. If you create something, you must stand by it, no matter how bad it may be. I know it can be hard to stand by something you've made in the past, especially when people think it's terrible. But if you made it and you put it out for other people to experience, you have to be prepared for that. It's okay to fail and accept your failure instead of throwing up your hands and saying, I'm not to blame, it's not my fault, I know it's terrible. It all comes down to a lack of respect, and nobody should make something without the passion to make something great. Because movies, music, video games, and animation, all these things, without them, I wouldn't exist the way I am. I don't even know who I'd be without them. They're everything to me, and to a lot of people. They mean a lot more to people than you know.
I see.
So, what happens now?
Give me time to think about it, Sol.
Well, where should I go while you think it over?
You'll go back to the void.
But
Don't worry, Sol. I've made a few alterations to your void. I'm sure you'll find it more agreeable.
Want to stay up to date with all the latest EyeofSol news? You can follow me on Twitter as well as on Facebook at twitter.com/EyeofSol299 and facebook.com/EyeofSol. I update them every day, so if you want to check out news on the show as well as updates, just follow the links here.